All right, Platoon, fall in. It's the Joe and the Jarhead Show. As always, I am Joe, representing the United States Army. With me, as ever, my homie.
Jarhead, United States Marine Corps. Why'd you look at your toys when you said Army?
Because I have Army toys. They're cool.
Because that's what the Army does best, everybody. Play with toys.
We are good at playing with toys. However, I wish I could claim that we're the best at it. But there is the Air Force and now Space Force.
Oh, yes!
And I guarantee you their toys are so much cooler than ours.
Why is it that you always got to chuckle when somebody says Space Force?
I'm just saying.
Why is that a thing? I love it. It's a cool thing.
Because Space Force.
Right? Enough said.
Right?
Okay, tonight on the show, the news is coming at you. We got plagues of all sorts.
Yes.
Bug type, virus type.
Yep.
All over.
Yep. All the above, none of the above, ND only.
Floods. Flooding everywhere.
I'm serious. It's like Old Testament tonight, man. What's going on?
Right. Next is the bloody... Okay, sorry. Well, I guess if you're dealing with terrorists, there's something going on bloody-wise.
That's pretty much their stock in trade, dude. That's what they do.
Okay. Wow. Lots to cover. But we shall do history first.
Shall we start with history?
Let us do it.
All right. So this week in history, 1820... the Senate passes the Missouri Compromise.
Slaves, right?
Slaves.
Yes.
So
Jarhead.
yes. Yeah.
I was not prepped for that.
Somebody ate his crayons before the show. Good job. So the Missouri Compromise was basically a last-ditch effort to stave off the Civil War. Mm-hmm. The Civil War has been brewing for a while, and this was pretty much this was it. This was, if this works, maybe we'll keep the Union together a little longer. If not, they're going inexorably down the path of civil war. Mm-hmm. So, so in 1819, a congressman from New York, of all places, introduced an amendment to the Constitution of Missouri. Missouri applied in 1818 for statehood as a slave state.
Okay.
So in 1819, a New York congressman, imagine New York meddling in the affairs of other states, things really never do change.
New York.
But in this case, it was not a bad thing. So it would, for the state of Missouri, it would ban the importation of new slaves, and it requires basically a phase-out emancipation of existing slaves.
Okay.
Yeah, Missourians flipped, dude.
Wow. Like,
lost their cool over this. So it basically just blew up into this huge nationwide debate over the future of slavery. Mm-hmm. Most of the founding fathers from the North wanted to emancipate slaves in the Declaration of Independence. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thomas Jefferson actually wrote it into the Declaration of Independence, and the southern states, the Carolinas in particular, forced him to cut that. No, we're keeping our slaves.
Because their entire industry relied on slave labor.
Yes. Which, I mean, it was going to go the way of all things eventually, just because technology made slaves obsolete anyway. But, I mean, I'm glad it happened when it did. I wish emancipation had happened sooner. But, I mean, it was going to happen anyway. So,
I mean, if we're wishing, we wish it would have never started in the first place.
Agreed. But, I mean, there's slavery today. Slavery has always existed and will always exist.
Yeah, we're actually going to talk about that a little bit later.
Yay. So the Missouri Compromise basically tried to line out where slavery would be. So no new slave states that were carved out of this massive chunk of country we bought from France called Louisiana. Mm-hmm. No new slave states could be added north of the Arkansas border.
Yeah, the whole line they drew across.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So Arkansas was a slave state, but we brought in Maine as a free state to keep the balance, right?
Because they were keeping the numbers even.
Right.
I don't remember, it was like 11 free and 11 slave states.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they were the slave states were afraid, rightly so, that if the northern states, if non-slave states got a majority, that's it. They'll just write in what would end up to be the 15th Amendment, right?
Okay.
So this was the last best effort, and it lasted for a little while.
For a wee bit.
So 1820, all right, cool. Got the Missouri Compromise. Held for 40 years.
Civil War.
And then we killed 750,000 of each other.
Bloodiest war in American history.
Well, yeah, because every single casualty was an American.
Yep, on both sides.
Yep.
Okay. Blech.
But it was a good effort. It was not ideal, but it was a good effort. It was a good faith effort to maintain the balance. And, you know, it really did help solidify people's opinions of what should be the future of slaves in the United States. So good on them for that.
Yeah. I guess. Okay.
Like I said, not ideal, but good.
Let's stay on the line of politics.
Oh, do we have to?
It is still happening.
What's still happening?
Politicking.
Oh,
so
yeah.
the Democrats are still fighting for the most delegates, right? So they need 1,991 delegates when they go around to the states to participate in the primaries and caucuses.
Correct.
They need that many delegates to win the nomination from the DNC. Now, those are just state delegates, the ones they'll get from going around talking to the states. That is not including the
I feel like I should throw my cape over my shoulder at this point. The super delegates.
Super delegates are all your congressmen.
No. Keep your original little slip of the tongue there. We should call them super delegates. I love it.
They're actually called unpledged delegates or automatic delegates, according to the Democrat National Convention. Everybody calls them super delegates because they're super. But they are basically just Democrat governors, congressmen, congresswomen, senators, or even like old presidents like Jimmy Carter would be considered a super delegate. So how they work is after all of the primaries and caucuses, they show up, which will be in Wisconsin. The DNC convention will be in Wisconsin this year at the beginning of July.
Oh, good.
And whoever has over 1991 delegates from all the primaries and caucuses at the states wins the nomination to get their name on the ballot to be president. However, if they show up without somebody securing that 1,991 delegates, then the super delegates get to vote and come into play. And this is where that whole debacle thing came down last year with Sanders and Hillary Clinton, because the super delegates came out ahead.
Last year being 2016?
Last election.
Okay.
Thank you. Last year's. So the super delegates came out before the convention, and they threw all of their money, all of their power behind Hillary. And so everybody's like, well, it's a done deal now.
Yep.
Just start backing Hillary because she's already won. So that caused a lot of butthurt. So this time around, they can't vote unless there is a contested convention.
Good.
Unless somebody shows up without the number of delegates to win.
Good. That at least allows them to pretend fairness.
Yeah, exactly. Super delegates I don't understand. Over 700 delegates, dude. Super delegates. That's insane. The Republican National Convention has no super delegates. Okay, so the Democrats, they want to abolish electoral college, right? Because they say, let the people choose. It should be the majority of the vote. Because last election, Hillary won the popular vote.
Yeah. Democrats
But
always will win the popular vote.
No, well, that doesn't apply to the Democratic National Convention. Oh, the people's vote shouldn't matter. It's the super
Well, they want the ability to
delegates.
correct if the people choose wrongly.
Yeah, there it is. And the people so far are choosing Mayor Buttigieg. He is at, hang on, I got the numbers right here, 23 delegates. So he won Iowa, remember that?
That's cool. He only needs, 1,970 more to go?
Pretty good math. We'll let it go.
Ish.
Bernie Sanders is at 21, Elizabeth Warren at 8, Klobuchar at 7. Guess who's bringing up the rear, folks? The guy who's leading in the national polls is bringing up the caboose at 6. 6 delegates is all Joe Biden has, y'all. Oh, I guess you want to talk about Bloomberg and HRC.
Oh, yeah. I really do. So
do I need to do it, or are you going to be able to continue yourself?
It's good. It warms
I don't
my
trust
heart
you right now.
It warms my heart, dude. Apparently, Mike Bloomberg is considering having Hillary Clinton as a running mate.
I love it. I really do. I hope it works out.
You know what that is? That's just a really complicated suicide.
She's one suicide away from the number 1 spot.
I'm just saying. If you're like a 5'4" nobody and your heartbeat is the only thing keeping her out of the office, I'm just saying people around her have died for a lot less.
5'4", meaning little Mike.
Little Mike.
Little Mikey.
That dude is tiny. He's a shrimp, dude.
He is getting beat up. I think all of the other nominees are going after him. Full speed ahead.
Yeah.
Because,
but, I mean, honestly, politically, in terms of the voting attraction, him picking Hillary is not a bad choice.
I agree, especially if you announce that soon, like before Super Tuesday, which happens in March, where a number of states, it's like a dozen or so, vote in the primaries. And if he announces that, then he will
he
secure a lot
will
more states.
pick up a huge boost.
Agreed. Okay, enough of politics. Let's move on to a different type of plague.
Okay.
Pick your poison. You got plenty of plagues over there.
So last time we talked about
that one.
Oh, keep talking, dude.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Ew.
Yeah, last week we talked about that locust swarm hitting the east coast of Africa, hitting the Horn of Africa. Eritrea, Somalia, places like those. So that was going west from the Arabian Peninsula. It rode the storm across and hit Africa. And it's moving farther into Africa. It's hitting Kenya now. It's hitting all those places. But it's also moving east. It's hitting, like Pakistan has declared a national emergency, and now they're showing up in China.
Oh, so they've already gone through Pakistan.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, oh my goodness.
Across the Indian Ocean, and they are friggin' storming China right now.
So is that good for the coronavirus, the Kung flu, or?
I mean, from a nutritional standpoint, no, probably not. Like if you're trying to eat your vegetables and get better, and there's no vegetables because locusts ate them all. Like there's footage apparently I haven't seen it, but apparently in Kenya there's footage of them coming down on a swarm of crops and eating it to the ground in 30 seconds. Like there are billions upon billions of these things.
That's like a cartoon style
swarm. That's like Egypt, like let Hong Kong go, okay? Like
take the rest of China.
Pharaoh, let Hong Kong go. Yeah. This is this came out of nowhere because I wasn't tracking this story until today. I had no idea that it had spread east, but this thing is just exploding out of control. It's reaching up into Europe, but Europe right now is freaking cold, so they're not making many inroads.
But I don't understand. I get that they're third world countries. It's Africa. It's the Middle East. But still, we have chemicals that are you can easily come by to spray on these guys and make them non-existent.
Except these things are the size of, these swarms are the size of counties.
Yeah. Like
whole counties. And they're eating and reproducing exponentially. So, I mean, it's like, throwing a baseball at an oncoming car.
Yeah.
It's not going to work.
That's sad.
It really is because, I mean, China's already getting hit by the coronavirus. Africa is already a drought-stricken hellhole. So this is doing them no favors.
Yeah, these poverty-stricken countries, this is not what they need.
No.
Interesting.
And as last time, I mean, I am no fan of communist China, but I am a huge fan of people. So last time we asked for people to pray for those in Africa. Might want to include China. And if you have time, Pakistan.
If you can remember them, fellas.
I am really no fan of Pakistan, man. When I was in Afghanistan, they were not our friends.
Terrorist capital of the world.
Yeah, number one state sponsor after Iran. Yeah.
But they're the human trafficking capital of the world.
Yes, they
Karachi?
are.
Is that how you say it?
Karachi, yeah.
Yeah. That's where a lot of the refugees go, is that place.
Yep.
That place is just swarm. It's tent city, the entire town.
Yep.
Is it the capital or is it just the biggest city?
Islamabad is the capital. Karachi is the major city.
Okay. All right, a little history within there. Okay, floods down south. Can we move on?
Sure. We got plagues, now we go to floods.
Next one on the list.
All right. If it starts raining frogs someplace, I'm moving, dude.
Oh, snap. That would be kind of cool.
Right?
As long as they're not poisonous. Okay, so floods in the south. It is happening down south in America. Heavy rains, they are getting hit hard down there. Tennessee and Mississippi getting hit the hardest. Thankfully, there's no deaths or injuries to report.
Good.
Thousands of homes are flooded, though.
Not good.
So, but there is more to come. I mean, the weather forecast down there there's no end in sight right now.
it's spring in the south. This is not a new thing. It's monsoon season.
Yeah, you were down there in Georgia, right?
Oh yeah, for a lot of years.
Just get dumped on, yeah?
Yeah, it comes down in buckets. Like, I have never seen rain like that. It's unbelievable.
You just walk out and you're just instantly in a swimming pool.
Pretty much, yeah. It's a vertical swimming to get to your car.
Work on your breaststroke.
Right.
That's cool. All right, so the reason I wanted to talk about this is because, yes, there's more that you can to pray for these guys, something to think about, but think about it internally. When you think about emergency preparedness, I think we've covered a lot of things when it comes to being prepared for emergencies. We talk about the terrorists, the homegrown, we talk about viruses.
Yep.
But when you talk about those kind of things, you talk about stocking up. Like food storage or having plans for your family. Here in Idaho, most of our food storage is in our basements, right? We dig down into the ground for our basements. They're under level. So
at least until you hit lava rock, and then
it's a big problem.
Yeah.
So our food storage, most of the time, located in the basement. So if we were to have a flood, and being a homeowner, you suffer through water in the house. That's just part of being a homeowner. So if your basement floods and your food storage is gone, and you're dealing with what Tennessee and Mississippi are going through, now what? What's your plan? So this is why I bring this up, is because it's not just enough just to put the checks in the boxes. You got to have a plan for something like this.
Yep.
Now, most redneck Idahoans will probably just pack up in their campers, their tents, and go to the next mountain. We're surrounded by them, plenty of them.
Yeah, we're not short on mountains here.
Or family or friends that would take you in. And this is something that Jarhead, actually lived through. The year that I graduated, 2000, the Snake River, which is the biggest river over here on this side, flooded in the year 2000.
Yep.
Because there was too much. We had a couple big winters, and the Palisades Dam, the Teton Dam, was overflowing. So they had to just open up all the gates, and they just had to let the water out. Otherwise, it was going to come over top of the dam, right? And so I remember not my entire senior year, but a good chunk of my senior year, I spent sandbagging, going around the houses. After school, we'd give up football practice, and we all go out as a team just to sandbag these homes. And we did the best we could, but the ones that needed the sandbag, they eventually got hit. And I remember being a senior, driving down the roads in water, and it just flooded, and it was sad, but we were there as a community.
That is cool.
I was too young to remember if the federal government stepped in, if FEMA was around. I doubt that they were.
No.
We handled our business. But a fun fact, that dam I was just talking about, that burst in the 1970s.
Yeah.
Same thing. So these things that I'm talking about, the things we want to prepare for emergency preparedness, they're not far-fetched. It's not a big what if. They happen. This coronavirus, it's not far-fetched to say that it's going to hit home soon. Over 14 cases in America by now.
Yep.
And if you want to count all those Americans on the cruise ship, you triple that number.
Yep.
And they were just brought here, right?
Yeah, they're brought to military bases here.
Flown, in an Air Force base, that's right. So, point of the article is, Platoon, we have to be prepared. Have plans in place for this. Have your food storage in place. Have a plan for your family.
Correct.
Speaking of climate change, because of floods, climate change.
Okay.
We should blame those on climate change, right?
Well,
The climate
what
change.
other cause is there?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know what we need?
What do we need?
About $10 billion.
$10 billion! Oh my goodness. Jeff Bezos, come to the rescue for us all. Save planet Earth. I mean, $10 billion. That ought to cover it.
Hang on, I have to. $10 billion.
Well done. So, Jeff Bezos, the Amazon owner, he's actually the richest dude on the planet. He said this, quote, "I'm committing $10 billion to start and will begin issuing grants this summer. Earth is the one thing we all have in common. Let's protect it together." So these grants he's going to give out to activist group, non-government agencies to
Yawn. Okay.
to go make cow fart backpacks,
Sure. Why
ban
not?
straws. I mean, what else do you do? So he said in this Instagram post he wants to buy 100,000 electric cars. Because that's a good way to fight against climate change.
You know who that really helps?
Tell me who that really helps.
That really helps the employment rate in the Congo.
Democratic Republic of Congo, y'all.
There is nothing democratic about the Republic of Congo.
So electric cars and the electric, so the batteries in most of our smartphones, tablets, and in your electric cars, they require cobalt. Over 50% of the world's cobalt is found in the DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo. It's right there in Africa, and
And it is being dug up by hand, by kids.
By kids. We're not making that up. And this is nothing new for Africa, right? Child labor is a thing over there.
Yep.
So, saying you're going to buy 100,000 electric cars, sure, you can kid yourself all day long that you're doing something for the climate. But what about the people? What about the kids over there?
So when was the last time we built a new nuclear plant in the United States?
Oh my gosh. Have you guys heard of these fast reactors? That is a thing. They exist in France. I think we have a couple here. I think there's one in Georgia, actually.
Mm-hmm.
These are nuclear power plants that can run off their own waste. Zero waste. I shouldn't say zero. There's always going to be some sort of waste.
Near zero.
Yes. But so the water that
you
it
can
pumps
take
out.
expended crap cores from older reactors and conceivably use them to fuel this thing because there's still enough reactive material in there to power this thing.
And to give you, so an average fast reactor is what it's called, would power about a quarter of Idaho. One reactor by itself. Mm-hmm. These things are amazing.
Right? But when was the last time we started building like new commercial reactors?
Right.
So we have 100,000 cars powered by electricity. I doubt that electricity is coming from windmills.
Well, the windmills cause more waste than...
Right.
Windmills are the biggest joke, right? Because...
So these are mostly coal-fired plants that are producing this electricity. Do we see any irony here? Like we're asking for more electricity in the dirtiest form imaginable to power cleaner cars.
There's nothing clean about that.
There's nothing clean about that, and especially not the manner in which the batteries are made.
There is something consumable about that, though, because they consume a lot more than they'll ever give us in return.
Correct.
Talking about the windmills. All right.
Sweet.
Can we move on to the next plague?
Well, it's really more of a back to plagues, but sure, yeah.
Back to the plagues.
Back to the plagues. China. So 58 million people now have been placed on indefinite lockdown in Hubei province.
Indefinite. You know, the last thing you want to hear come out of China's mouth is indefinite.
Right?
Yikes.
Currently, one person is allowed to leave a home every 3 days to go to the store. When walking, you have to, if you are outside, you have to wear a mask and you have to maintain a 1.5 meter distance from any other person.
How do you go to the grocery store and check out your food then? You just throw the food at them. Here you go. Check that out for me.
Right. I don't know. I don't know. Because it's not realistically feasible, especially in a country with a population density as much as China's. So there's, just in the Hubei province, there's 200,000 rural communities with 24 million people.
You don't have enough police. Your army is not big enough to contain that.
So in addition to Wuhan, not just Wuhan where the plague originated, this is the entire Hubei province with another 24 million people. So that's 58 million people aren't going anywhere. You're stuck inside.
As they should be. I mean, this thing is scary. You need to be under quarantine.
Agreed. But when you put that many people in that close proximity for that long without allowing them access to like fresh air and stuff, you're going to get other diseases. I can't imagine how bad flu season is going to be this year in China.
You know, I'm just thinking right now how awesome it would be to be shut inside my house with just my wife and kids, chewing through my food storage.
Right?
I'd be okay with that.
Dude, I'd use my 1 in 3 days to come bring you some dehydrated pineapple.
I would love you for it.
I know.
Well, you'd have to throw it at me. 1.5 meter distance, sir.
Right. Okay, that's like 8 feet. That's fine. There is, as you say, good reason for this. 80% of the world's cases are in Hubei.
Okay.
Like 90+% of the casualties, the actual fatalities, are in Hubei province.
But those numbers actually scare me because 20% of the cases are outside, and we're struggling to track those down.
Such a huge incubation window that people have spread it to others a week before they start showing symptoms.
Yeah, you're spreading it around. You don't even know if you got it.
Yeah. If there's one case here in Idaho, my kids are staying home. Period.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Boarding up the windows and everything.
Right.
Stay out.
Right. So all vehicle traffic is shut down in Hubei. All public transportation is shut down. So if you're living in one of these rural communities, I'm not even sure how you get to market every 3 days.
Yeah. And I'm picturing, I mean, this is China, this is a communist country, so you can't picture a grocery store like we see it.
Right.
They're not walking
How
down
are you
endless aisles
moving
of
groceries into the area if there's no vehicle traffic? Like how do your supermarket trucks get from the distribution centers to the markets if there's no vehicle traffic?
Right. That is.
I think this is going to get pretty tragic, and I think the longer this goes on, the more information is going to come out. There's a total media blackout right now from that area.
In China.
Yeah.
Well, they kind of have to. We already know that they're hiding the numbers.
Of course.
They're cremating bodies without telling anybody.
Right.
It's only making the situation worse.
Yeah. This will eventually pass. It always does. Humanity will keep going, but I think when this is all said and done, I think the numbers from this will be just staggering.
Yeah, I mean they already are, right? It passed SARS last week.
Right.
So
yeah,
it's just scary. It's going to get worse before it gets better. I mean, they're talking about they won't even have a vaccine ready for this until like 2021.
Right. Pray for China.
Pray for us, yeah.
And if, like I said, if you have time, Pakistan.
If you get around to. Okay, peace with terrorists.
And that's our show.
No, we're talking about it. You
No.
started this. You started it. So Joe brought it up in September.
Yeah.
The United States was actually trying to sit down at a table. They have been sitting down at a table with the Taliban. They are, we label them as a terrorist group. We don't just call them terrorists.
Because they are.
And this was back in September, and like terrorists do, they did terrorist things. They killed American soldiers. So Trump backed out and said, screw y'all. But now we're back at the table.
Mm-hmm.
And if they can behave themselves this time, they're claiming by the end of February, if the terrorists can behave themselves, we will have a signed deal with the Taliban.
Okay.
And what that tells us is that instead of having 12,000 boots on the ground over there, we'll have less. I believe we should always have a presence over there on the ground. We need to have that to keep the war over there out of our home country, right?
Agreed. Any war is fought on economics. Any war is fought on economics and logistics. And financially, it is easier and more feasible for them to fight Americans over there than it is trying to assemble the resources to fight us over here.
Exactly. And speaking of finances and economics, this war, which we have been fighting since 2001, when I initially got sent over there to fight this war, has cost us now $1 trillion and 2,400 American lives.
2,400 American lives is nothing short of miraculous. We've been at war for 19 years, and we've only lost 2,400 people.
And that number on the other side would be?
It's exponential.
Tenfold.
It's
at least, yeah.
At a minimum. But I do not agree with this process at all.
I agree.
What is that? It's you know what that is? That is super fancy, handwritten, calligraphy endorsed toilet paper.
That's all it's good for.
They will never be at peace. What do you think is going to happen? Like, we're going to sign this deal and the Taliban's not going to try to, destroy the infidels? Like, that's what's going to happen? That's fantasy. That is delusional.
I mean, they're mandated by their own mission statement. They have to kill the infidels, which is Israel and everybody in the West. That is us.
That is correct.
So,
well, option B is convert.
Yeah, convert or die.
You can convert.
To me, this is hard. There is no right answer there. We have to stay over there because we are at war with an ideology, not a country, not a people. It's an ideology.
Correct.
So we have to stay over there. I don't want to be involved in an endless war. So I don't care if you want to label it a war or nothing, but we have to keep people over there to keep the fight away from us. But I don't believe that making peace deals with people we label as terrorists is the right answer.
It's political theater, nothing more. They will never honor that agreement, ever.
I'm okay with some more proactive measures, like the travel bans that Trump is doing. Put more of those out there. I'm okay with that.
As far as don't let people from Afghanistan or Pakistan come here.
Yeah.
We train Pakistani soldiers. I went to school with them.
Yeah, you did. And we learned that lesson the hard way down in Pensacola, Florida.
Yeah,
Saudi Arabia,
amazing.
actually.
I went to school with Saudis, too.
Well, we could actually do more proactive measures. Bombs. type.
I'm just saying, we have
Assassinations.
19 freaking Moabs left. They're going to expire. Might as well use them.
What does Moab mean?
Technically, it's massive ordnance aerial bomb.
No. What does it really mean?
Oh, it's the mother of all
Yes!
bombs.
I
Yes,
love
is.
it.
When you can use it to seismically collapse entire cave complexes, it warms my heart.
It's a feel good.
It is.
So, moral of the story here is don't make peace with evil. That's not okay.
No, evil will never honor the arrangement. Never. It is a sham. It is a stalling tactic meant to mitigate temporary weakness. You are handing them a win. We brought the United States to the table. They blinked first. The Americans blinked first. And as soon as they walk away, as soon as they pull out the majority of these troops, we will move with impunity. And now we can divert more money to bringing their next biggest building down.
Yep. When that happens, it's only a matter of time before the Afghan government is no more and it's actually totally ran by Taliban.
They have said they will never accept a puppet of the United States.
Yep. Which is why they
Which is
don't
what
make peace deals with the Afghani government. They'll do it with us, but not with them.
Right.
And if you actually look at a map of Afghanistan, it's like the map of Mexico. More of Afghanistan is run by the Taliban than the Afghanistan government. Same with Mexico, right?
Truth.
More of it's run by the cartels.
Yep.
Don't compromise with evil.
Nope. Not worth it.
You will always have to fight it while you are a child of God here on this earth until Christ comes again and binds Satan. We are always going to be fighting
That is
evil.
realistically that's the only ending measure.
Pray for that.
Absolutely yes.
Okay. Done with the plagues. Done with the bloodiness. Done with the floods.
Done with the show?
Done with the show.
All right. Hey, thank y'all. Best audience on the internet. We love you guys.
Love you.
And Platoon dismissed. Damn.
He's looking for a Semper Fi. Semper
go.
Fi Dallas. Hoorah.
Eeyore is joining us tonight.
Right? Thanks for noticing. Not that it matters. It's gonna be fun.
Why do you do such a good Eeyore? What's up with that?
I work around you.
Back into the whatever we're talking. What are we talking about? Politics?
Yes.
Thank you. So, where was I at? Super delegates before Virginia. PG-13, Joe.
That's what editing's for, brother.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, because you're not doing it.
I'm so sorry, dude.
That segment's over. We can no longer talk about politics with Joe.
Oh, good.
Moving on.